everybody, welcome to Nintendo Power Black here on Boss Rush Games. I'm your host, the enlightened, excited Eddie V. Joining me is the gallivanting Gallatrat himself, Mr. Jacob Taylor.
Hey everybody!
The devastating Dungeoneer, Mr. David Lasby.
Howdy.
Boss Man himself, the one, the only, Mr. Corey Derrick.
Hello, I'm back.
And everybody, the debut of our special guest. He's the architecture of awesomeness. He's the doctor of all things PlayStation. He is part of the Crossroad crew with LaRon and Nelly. Everybody, please give the one, the only, who needs a steady ovation once again.
Wow.
Blessing the show tonight.
Oh boy.
Mr. Austin Campbell from Crossroads in the Stand Party.
I can't top anything that you way oversold me at this point. So I'm glad that I got a cool name though. I was wondering if I was going to get that or just the original PlayStation Doctor. I will take it.
Yes, welcome, Austin. We finally have you on the show. As much as we have talked a lot of things Nintendo and PlayStation, and the way that you stumped us with your Mario game. You had Boss Rush and the Nintendo side.
That was really infuriating.
Yes, but it was.
That was one of those things where I was like, I really think that I may have the weirdest introduction to Mario. I don't think anyone could possibly say. I mean, there's got to be someone out there that does, but I don't think there's anyone else that could have said, yeah, my first Mario game was Gallery 4 on the Game Boy Advance. I don't know anyone who has that story.
Yes. Well, I'm so happy that you can join us. If you just want to introduce yourself a little bit of who you are and what you do on Crossroads with LaRon and Nelly.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see me all over the Boss Rush Network. You'll see me on Crossroads every Tuesday at 8/7 Central, considering nothing goes wrong. Usually there's some kind of technical difficulty, but and really I am just the sidekick to the show. LaRon is awesome. He does a lot of work there, and I get to just have fun and talk PlayStation every Tuesday, and I enjoy it quite a bit. And I'm on a ton of other shows, so
yes, you are
LAN party and everything. So yeah. you can find me a little bit everywhere.
Yes, Aaron, I forgot he's part of Boss Rush Entertainment, so LAN party and more podcasts with Logan and his crew over there. So we're gonna get into what we kind of been snacking on, but before we get into what we've been snacking on, how was everybody this weekend? Jacob, how was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good. I went to an eye doctor and I'm expecting some new glasses in 2 weeks because you can't see it on the camera, but these glasses are so scratched up that it's harder to see with them on than it is with them off.
I see a little one right there, actually.
Yeah.
I am going Thursday to go get my eyes checked and get some new glasses.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. They took pictures of the back of my cornea. It was good.
Yes, Austin, how was your weekend?
It was good. I mostly worked all weekend, but I did get one day off, and so we sat around and did nothing. Played some games, watched some movies and stuff. I forgot what all we watched, to be quite honest, but everything was a blur this weekend, I guess. So, we watched Bones. That's what we watched. That's probably why I didn't remember that much.
Oh wow. Corey, how was your weekend?
My weekend was busy. I just worked on a bunch of stuff all weekend and trying to get everything ready for big things happening. So,
yes, everybody continue to follow Boss Rush. Continue to check us out. We got some new things coming. A new season, I should say, for Boss Rush. David, how was your weekend?
I had such a good weekend. This little fella came here. I don't know if you can't see it if you're just listening. It's my Zelda and Loftwing amiibo that was lost by Best Buy. And after a lot of harassing phone calls, they managed to find it in the supply route, and it showed up at my house. Funny enough, when I did get it from Best Buy delivered, they sent me, after it was delivered, a text announcing to me that it would be delivered 5 days prior. So it was just it was kind of a comedy of errors, but I'm so glad I have it. And my amiibo collection for Zelda is now complete. And I played a ton of Skyward Sword HD this weekend and have a change in my top 5 favorite Zelda games. So it's good.
We're gonna. Oh yes. So my weekend consisted of a lot of re-downloading. I took all my games off my micro SD card and my Nintendo Switch and re-downloaded some stuff with the updates. I kind of wanted to see what I am going to keep to play and what I'm going to keep in the back. And then once I get done playing with stuff, I'll take it off and switch it. With that, I also took part of Best Buy. Speaking of Best Buy, David, of their Black Fridays. Black Friday sale in July. So I got a 4 terabyte external hard drive for $100 and some a headset for $40 for my Xbox Series X. So I was happy about that. Yes.
In preparation for us playing some Alien Fireteam Elite together, right?
Oh yes. Trust me. Yes. I was been telling some people this week is bunkers for games. We got the Exit for Xbox Series X coming. Everybody's been talking about Death's Door. I haven't picked it up. I haven't heard of it, but I've seen it. I'm like, I'll check it out. I picked up that story and did. But for Nintendo, we got The World Ends With You sequel, and we got Phoenix, the Phoenix Wright gang.
I've heard good things about The World Ends With You, so I'm curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I saw the reviews pouring in today, and they were all mostly positive, which makes me excited.
Yeah.
I love the Danganronpa series, and this is kind of the only thing I'm getting from it for right now.
Is the Danganronpa that's coming out for Switch, is that exclusive to Switch, or is that just a port in the fall?
It's a port.
It's a port.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've never played anything in that series, so
it's only
recommend it.
Yeah, it's only been on PlayStation, I think. Austin?
It was on PC first, and then there was PSP was the first one was on PSP, and maybe the second one. And then they came to Vita.
Yeah, Jacob, you're a big fan of that series too, right? Danganronpa?
I am, yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Because Nintendo had some for 3DS, but they were a different name. They're still part of the series, but they were a different name. But everybody, let's get into some Snacktendo, because I got some good snacks to talk about. But Austin, since you are a guest, what have you been snacking on?
I'm not gonna lie. Before the show started, I was like, "Wait, I don't think I've really snacked on anything lately. I'm gonna be so unprepared." But I wanna give a shout out to the Outshine lime popsicles because I love those things, and it's so hot right now that they hit the spot every time.
They're the ones that's in that light green box, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love those things.
Now hold on, Austin. What's better here, Snacktendo or Plate Station? Because we gotta. You're on the show here tonight.
So here's the thing. Snacktendo is the original, but Plate Station, is just the revamped version, But I will say that Celeste. Did Celeste come up with Snacktendo?
Me and Celeste was talking about it, and I think she said Snacktendo. Because when me and Corey was talking to her, we just met for the first time, started talking about food. That's how Snacktendo came about.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say Nelly came up with Plate Station, so I'm gonna have to rep. I'm gonna have to rep with Nelly though and say that she came up with a better name.
Yeah, the lady,
you can't mess with the ladies and their food, right? I mean,
right. Shout out to the ladies in the foods creating our segments for shows. Shout out to them.
By the way, guys, Nelly's back.
Yes.
I'm very
We're excited.
Yes. Jacob, what have you been snacking on?
I haven't been snacking on anything. I actually have an ulcer that's like right on the inside of my lip, and so it hurts to chew on anything or really even talk. But I'm here. But no, I've just been eating regular food, man. Just regular, boring old like noodles and rice and just boring stuff.
Oh, that's still good. Ooh, excuse me about that. Corey, what have you been snacking on?
Haven't really been snacking on a lot, honestly. I'm trying to like not snack a whole lot, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to, go down in the weight category. So it's
Corey, last week when you were on the show, you talked about that goal with you and your wife. How's that going this week?
It went pretty well. We usually use the weekends as like Saturday as like the cheat day or whatever, and that worked really well a couple of years ago when we tried, and then we fell off the wagon, and now we're back on. So it worked.
Awesome.
It works well. It just not. I mean, I just need to stay on it, So I tried to stay away. I did have some chocolate ice cream though on Saturday. It was fine, a little bit.
Well, that's good. You can treat yourself. David, what have you been snacking on?
Well, listen, if I could only eat one kind of food for the rest of my life, it would be Mexican food. I love Mexican food so much. And for me, summers especially are Mexican food. So I let myself indulge a little bit this week. I've been having margaritas and Mexican food, which is like my favorite combination ever. And so I've been having a lot of black bean tacos with salsa verde and green Tabasco sauce on top with a little bit of margarita and chips and salsa on the side. And it feels like summer.
Salsa verde is the it. That is the it. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. Which I also really like pico de gallo. So sometimes I like to mix them because pico's pretty mild, but it's like got that fresh feel. And then if I get like a nice spice on the side, it's good.
Oh yeah.
All right.
David, I know you're vegan, correct?
I am. Yeah.
So like I've always thought like I don't know if I could ever go vegan, but if I did, Mexican food is the way to go because there's so many good options.
No, you're really right about that because Mexican food and Indian food, you don't even have to like skip out on stuff, as vegan because like the food's just naturally that way. So it's like Mexican food and Indian food are I could eat those forever.
I am in agreement. Those are my two favorite as well. I love Mexican and Indian food.
Okay. Well, I was listening to Crossroads last week, and LeRon talked about there was sour strips. Austin,
Did you know
about
them?
it.
Did you find them?
My Target has them. They have the blue raspberry and the rainbow. I would say this, everybody. Go watch last week's Crossroads or check out Exodus 803 on YouTube. Watch that episode and listen to.
Are they paying you to promote their show? Because every episode, all you do is rant about Crossroads for at least 10 minutes.
It's a good show,
I know.
But he brought on Austin.
Yeah, this is a little suspect.
Okay, so
LeBron said no, so we had to bring Austin on.
So this one.
Well, Nelly also said no. That was your third option.
Oh, no.
So no, I told LeBron because I heard them talking about it, and I'm like, I've never heard of this candy, so I went to go check. When he said Target, I'm like, okay, cool. Checked it out. Go listen to LeBron when he talks about it and give you the description. You'll be like, oh wow, because
He was preaching the gospel about these things. He was going off for these things.
Yes. They didn't have the strawberry. They only had the two flavors for it. But yeah, when what he said is like automatic true. It's very true. But what I wanted to focus on is Taco Bell has the nacho fries back. But they have this white hot sauce cheese. It's not a queso kind of thing. It was like steak and fries with this white hot sauce and sour cream, tomatoes, and like cheddar cheese thrown on it, like in a bowl. It is spicy. It has a kick. It is so good. I ate that whole thing in my car. I was embarrassed to go into work if they see me carrying that. I will admit, I would have felt shameful because I didn't bring anyone else any. They are that good. I ate the whole thing within 5 minutes. I mean I love Taco Bell nacho fries. This one I will go back to Taco Bell and buy it again. It was so good. They call this, I think, steak and fries or something like that. But it was really good, and it's only limited time. So if you guys who like nacho fries and love Taco Bell, go get you some of that. I think it's like it was only like 3 something altogether. They don't have a combo meal for it though. So if you want a drink, you have to order that separate. But man, when Taco Bell get those nacho fries, get them.
I love Taco Bell. Interesting fact, Taco Bell is super vegan friendly. It's like on most vegan websites, like Taco Bell is like well known as like super easy menu for vegan food to order. So I love Taco Bell.
And then they took away potatoes during the pandemic, and everyone lost their mind.
But they did bring them back. That's the crazy thing.
Bring them back. Yeah.
They knew they had to.
Those potatoes are hot. They're so good. But everybody, that's been our Snacktendo. Now it's time.
Hold up, Ben. I got to tell our listeners to check out our Boss Rush Twitter really quick to see our patron saint of Snacktendo. That is the patron saint of Snacktendo. There's a wonderful picture of him. So check that out.
Over at Boss Rush, at Boss Rush Network.
Saint.
Go ahead, Corey.
Saint Edward.
Snacks.
Yes, everybody, go check that out. Let's get into some game fact events. And our special guest, Austin, is delivering our game fact events, and I'm so excited for this one. So, Austin, take it.
Okay, well, I wanted to find something that maybe, I mean, you all are the Nintendo pros, so I may have not found anything that's new to you guys, but I wanted to find something that was with the game, one of the games that I love from Nintendo. And so I found this one, and Nintendo is very hands-on about how people treat their characters, making sure they're family-friendly and everything like that. So this one comes from Game Rant, and I'm pulling it up because I was not prepared, as always. But Nintendo once made a suggestive ad for a Mario game, and there's been some rumors that I was looking this up. I found on Twitter that Next Level Games with Luigi's Mansion and Mario Strikers, which is the game I'm referring to, that's the reason that Nintendo was very got more hands on their IP, just because of the way that Next Level started making some of their characters look, considering they really made Mario kind of more Violet looking in the cover, and then they had the Bowser truck, monster truck thing in Mario Strikers. And so there is, on this one, there's a lot of rumors about it, but this one is one that we knew that happened, which was this not safe for work poster on for Mario Strikers, where they had and I know it's a family friendly show, so I will keep this as PG as I can, but the subtitle says "You're gonna need a pair," and there's a big soccer ball net with 2 soccer balls hanging from the top of the deal, from the top of the poster, and that ad got pulled. But it's all around the internet and stuff. This was for the Mario Strikers on GameCube. So I was really just trying to find anything on Mario Strikers. That was the one thing I wanted to do. So I found this at GameRant.com, and I can actually post a link on the Twitch chat if I need to.
I already should. I got it.
All right, cool.
And that's interesting, Austin, because just this week I saw somebody else share a very suggestive Nintendo ad about the Game Boy. I think the catchphrase was, "It's seriously distracting," and it had a woman very suggestively tied up on a bed. And it's like
playing Game Boy.
Nintendo has a very interesting history with those kind of ads, and I think Jacob's talked a lot about how Nintendo's history with love hotels, and that seems to have worked its way into their advertising campaigns.
The 80s and 90s, man, they were whatever they could do to sell games.
Which you gotta realize that I think it's Fire Emblem Awakening in Japan, they had a red light district in the game and they took it out.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was that, or it was the following one. They literally, if you get the Japanese version for 3DS, they had a red light district mini game that you could actually go in. And when it came to America, they took it out.
I believe that's Fates and Birthright.
Yes,
I believe that's the one where they're that and also the mini game that involved you like petting your Fire Emblem characters on the face. Yes. It was. Ah, man, Nintendo can get really creepy. But that's I love that ad. That's so good.
Looking at it, I found more stuff where like even like Nintendo's like really hardcore about it now. Where I think I guess there was a time in one of the Mario Karts where Mario had like a suggestive hand gesture. And they could like it wasn't quite that, but people took it that way, and so they immediately tried to scrub that as well. Like it's very they want the family first in Nintendo now, and I can appreciate that. It's refreshing.
Which is funny. And then we're gonna get into the family news, which is funny that Nintendo doesn't censor anything. Now they like keep their hands off. And Sony is the one that's censoring stuff. So, very interesting to say.
As long as it's not their own properties.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
Well, and I want to know who the programmer was that programmed Mario with that suggestive hand gesture in Mario Kart.
He knew what he was doing. He was just trying to be sneaky about it.
Exactly. Well, everybody, thank you also for that game, Petrovic. Now it's time for Family News. David, take it away.
All right, thanks, Ed. So our first story, just 10 days since the launch of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, it's already in Amazon's third bestseller of 2021. So this is from Ryan Craddock over at NintendoLife.com. Quote, a quick look at Amazon's list of best-selling games of 2021 reveals that Skyward Sword HD is already the company's third best-selling retail game of the year so far. Only Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, which launched back in February, and the world-dominating Animal Crossing New Horizons have sold better at Amazon this calendar year, with Skyward Sword nabbing the third spot after just 10 days since launch. This data from Amazon's US site, but also the game achieved number ones in both the UK and Japan, suggesting retail performance is strong in those regions too. So, for consideration, is this surprising to you? Do you think these sales numbers will translate into a kind of redemption for Skyward Sword, which historically has been one of the most divisive and criticized titles in the series? So, Jacob, I'm going to start with you. What do you think of these sales numbers, and what does that mean for how Skyward Sword is going to be viewed?
I'm really happy about it. I think that it's really what the sales numbers are proving is that the Switch is capable of selling games. Something that everyone's been kind of championing whenever we talk about a game that's not currently on the Switch. But I personally have been I've been a champion of Skyward Sword since its original Wii release. I think that it got a bad rap with the motion controls. I think that people weren't playing it properly and they weren't giving it a fair chance. And I'm just happy to see that Skyward Sword is now getting the chance that it always deserved, because just because it's HD now and people are convincing themselves that the motion controls are better, but they're not. They're the same.
Well, I've taken, you mentioned it being HD. I've taken more photo captures on my Switch than I have for any other game with Skyward Sword HD. It looks so good in the 60 frames per second animation on Switch. Ed, I want to get you in on this. What do you think of this and these sales numbers that are already number 3? What do you think about that?
Everybody should have had shut up and not posted anything about why it was $60 and complaining about that when we knew that they were going to be buying it. We've known this. People know that with Nintendo's remasters and their remakes and stuff, they literally do put in some quality into it. So to hear these numbers that it came out third, that's really good for Nintendo. It really showcases the sales of this game, and people are still buying this game. They're still doing videos of it, still doing streams of it. Like, it really just showcases that when Nintendo remasters any of their old classics and they put them out, it's guaranteed that there's going to be a sale. I feel like there's a new audience for a lot of the games that they miss, and so if this is a way that they could come in and play some of their older games, yeah, it's at $60, but work into it, they'll understand why people love this game or why it might have been seen in a certain way, but this new version helps it, actually be that definitive version that it could be.
Corey, thank you, Ed. Corey, in the pre-show, I talked about how my top 5 of Zelda has changed. I'm curious, do you think that Skyward Sword HD will change people's opinion of Skyward Sword?
I mean, for me, I'm going to just talk from a personal standpoint, right? Like, my thing with Skyward Sword is, like, I always loved the story of Skyward Sword. I just hated playing it. Mm-hmm. And for me, like, I know Jacob and you swear by the motion controls, and like I did try to play with those controls. Right. It's not that they're bad, it's just I don't want to play it that way. Like I did try. Mm-hmm. I gave it the old college try, probably 30 minutes. And honestly, the button controls, like, there's some things I would have changed with the button controls, but overall I think it's a better experience, and this definitely has changed my opinion of the game overall, right? Like, since it came out, I always thought of, like, the classic Zelda formula. I think this has one of the best stories probably ever in a Zelda game, right? They really gave Zelda and Link a fun camaraderie type personality, and I love it. It was just the act of playing. So yeah, I definitely think that putting it on a console that people aren't tired of yet without motion controls is definitely going to change a lot of people's opinions. And I think that that's why you're seeing the sales numbers go up. And obviously, like, Ed, you said that Nintendo does good work on remasters and stuff. Like, I think they obviously prioritize Zelda's quality over, because, like, I don't necessarily agree with you on a lot of things that they've remastered, but Zelda is definitely the one, right? You see Grezzo did all the work for Wind Waker, and then the 64 remakes on 3DS and Twilight Princess, and Tantalus
Link's Awakening.
Yeah, and Tantalus did this game, who did quality remasters of Final Fantasy 10 and 12, right? Like, they obviously know that Zelda is important enough to do that too. Now, where I disagree with you, obviously, is the Mario 3D collection was bad, but, like, I think what?
Oh, can I say the one thing with the Mario collection? I think it's the wording, collection versus HD, and I think if their games don't have that HD to it, it's not a remake or a remaster.
I don't agree with that either, because, like, the original Super Mario All-Stars was just that, and it was upgraded. They upgraded the older games to bring them to the SNES style.
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo set the standard for remasters and remakes way back then, right? So, let me finish my point on Skyward Sword real quick. I think Skyward Sword is a wonderful game. Is it my favorite? No, but it's definitely climbed up the list of my favorite Zelda games, right? Just based on it. And I don't know if that has to do with it being on Switch and not the Wii. I don't know if, like, the art direction definitely stands. Ed, remember when we talked about it way back when on Power Block, how beautiful Skyward Sword would be in HD, and we hope that someday they port it. Well, at that time we were talking about maybe getting a Wii U version.
Well, hold on. Let me interrupt you for just a minute, then, Corey, because I know you've talked about maybe playing through the Zelda games in order as some sort of boss rush feature. Where just putting you on the spot here, where does Skyward Sword fall now in terms of your top? There's 21 Zelda titles. Where does it fall in terms of your top picks?
It's definitely a top 10. If I were to go in order, I would say like Breath of the Wild #1, Twilight Princess 2, Wind Waker 3, Majora's Mask 4. I would probably put this over Ocarina of Time, but that's just that's just me. Listen, Ocarina of Time and I have a really love-hate relationship, okay? And maybe it's because I was stupid and didn't know I had to go back in time to finish the Shadow Temple. Nobody will ever know, right? But I mean, I also think Link's Awakening is up there. This is definitely it would probably fall somewhere between the 5 and 8 range for me.
Okay. It's definitely cracked into my top 5 now. Ed, I know you had a response, and then I want to get to Austin on a question here. So go ahead, Ed.
Just a quick thing. I think when I mention collection in HD, I'm talking about the modern games of now, of remakes. You know, Nintendo really didn't do a lot of remakes. All Stars, when it came out to the Super Nintendo, I think that was the only game that they did, but I can remember.
Nintendo re-releases games all the time now, though. You know, like, I mean, you see, like, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on Wii U is like the Wind Waker remake set the standard of how you should remake a game.
I still think that's their best remake.
Yeah, it's their best remake by far.
To be fair though, Corey, and in Ed's case, that does have HD in the title.
Right. So that's what I'm saying now.
Favor.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying now.
All right, let me get Austin in on this. So Austin, as a PlayStation guy, one, I'm curious if you played Zelda and what you think about the Skyward Sword remake. But you know, even if not, you know, PlayStation has Final Fantasy as a a full remake, and I'm curious what PlayStation titles you feel like kind of fit in this mold that Nintendo has done with bringing back old Zelda games.
Well, I hope one of those games is Resistance, and that's right. I'm bringing Resistance into this podcast because that's what I do for my own. I have played quite a few Zelda games. I might be the only one on this panel that did not buy this remake because I did not like the original. It's in kind of the bottom for me. But for me, this game is like the perfect example of striking while the iron's hot because you've got so many new fans with the Breath of the Wild series. I mean, what is it? The second best-selling Zelda game was probably Ocarina of Time, and even then, I think Breath of the Wild is beating it by double. So, to me, this is like there's so many new fans that a lot of people who did play Skyward Sword are gonna like this game now Nintendo knows that they can sell Ocarina of Time at any time. They know they could sell Majora's Mask at any time, and people are going to buy those. But this is the game that even the hardcore Zelda fans either didn't really give a chance or didn't really care, or it was under-reviewed, and now people are playing this game and really buying it. I think it was a smart move to get Skyward Sword. As far as just like Final Fantasy VII Remaster is like a whole other thing because it's a totally different game. You know, it's really like Link's Awakening almost. That I would equate that more to the Link's Awakening remake. As far as this one, I would say like you would get like your Shadow Colossus remake. I would say that this is probably what it compares to. There's a I would say it was more like Shadow Colossus if I were to compare it to a PlayStation remake, where they kept a lot of the same things. They kind of changed the controls a little bit. They just made it look better. Demon Souls could be, but like Demon Souls was made on like a completely different engine, so I wouldn't quite put it on that one either. But
some Zelda influence there with Demon Souls too.
Yeah. Well, and so Demon Souls is like that's a whole different thing. But I also just like I all these games are worth $60 to be. That was the other thing that people complain about the price and stuff. if you don't want it, don't buy it. I didn't buy it.
Right.
I'm probably gonna ask for it for Christmas. Honestly, that's kind of one of those things where I would be putting. My mom's gonna be like, "What do you want?" I'm like,
Skyward Sword HD.
even if I never play it, I just want I want all the Zelda games. So
Nintendo, thank you for your services, or your mama for her services.
yeah. So, I definitely would probably give this one a chance. I want to give it another chance. I just don't know why it didn't click with me on the Wii, and I'm hoping that it'll click with me again this time. So,
Corey mentioned this. There is something strange about it on the Switch. It's just there's something magical about it. Like I have Skyward Sword for my Wii, and yet for some reason I feel so drawn to playing it on the Switch. Maybe it's. I feel like the Switch has definitely been just incorporated into my lifestyle, and so. Like Jacob said at the start of this segment, the Switch sells games. So, maybe that's all there is to say. So speaking of sales of games, Mortal Kombat 11 surpasses 12 million copies sold worldwide. Now, of course, this isn't just for Nintendo Switch, but I think this is an interesting story. So this is from Brian from NintendoEverything.com. Mortal Kombat 11 has sold over 12 million copies worldwide, Warner Brothers Games and NetherRealm Studios revealed today. The series as a whole has also surpassed 73 million units. Speaking on today's news, NetherRealm Studios creative director and series creator Ed Boon said, quote, "When Mortal Kombat launched 30 years ago, I never dreamed it would grow into the franchise it has with more than 73 million games sold. We have sold some of the most passionate fans in the world, and we appreciate how supportive they have shown. They've been to us over the years. Excuse me. So, for consideration for our panel, so other than Smash Brothers, which has sold 24 million copies, Mortal Kombat 11 is now the best-selling fighting game of all time, and certainly the best-selling traditional fighting game of all time. What are your reactions to this milestone? Thinking back over the years and about all the controversy that surrounded the franchise in the early days, what has been the impact of Mortal Kombat? So, Ed, as our kind of resident game historian here, I want to get you in on this first. What do you think?
So, I think because I was, during the time the controversy was happening and they were doing the Senate hearings about this and games like
Trapped, right?
Night Trap, yeah. They didn't realize that the goofy game, this goofy fun. Everybody looked into doing the fatalities for this game, didn't the actual fighting, because the fighting is kind of basic. And they didn't take it to Mortal Kombat 2 when it came to the arcade that people loved it, but when it came to Super Nintendo, that's when Mortal Kombat became the franchise that it is today. And with 3, with the combos, and also with Clear Instinct being an inspiration to Mortal Kombat 3's combo system, even to now. Mortal Kombat was the leading kind of franchise over Street Fighter and even the Neo Geo fighting games. So to see them go from that to this now, I will say Mortal Kombat has had a big rough patch. Because, yes, the Shaolin Monks game that came out with Kung Lao and Liu Kang was really good, but you got the Mortal Kombat Stories with Sub-Zero. That was bad. You had the Mortal Kombat 4, the 3D one that was kind of laughed at. And then some of the other games, like, they didn't really hit the numbers that they could have hit because Mortal Kombat had lost its popularity in a while. So when they started doing, like, I think 10 and 11, this new one, that's when Mortal Kombat became back in. The flashy combos, the violence, definitely getting into fighting tournaments in an Evo and stuff. It became the game that it once was back in the day for a new generation. So to see them become the leading third-party franchise, that's good to them with it. Now, I will say that, yes, it is impactful, but it's still not impactful than Street Fighter. There are still people who are still dressing up like Ryu and Street Fighter characters and still doing Hadoukens and everything. The only thing that really got going from Mortal Kombat is everybody saying fatality or get over here. And yeah, it's still not as big as Street Fighter is and stuff.
Okay.
But
Austin, we just had a Mortal Kombat film come out that I think was received pretty well. As a Boss Rush Entertainment guy, and I'm just curious, what's your history with the Mortal Kombat series? Do you have any connection to it, and what are your thoughts on these milestones?
So I will say that the Mortal Kombat movie is actually pretty enjoyable. I actually really did like it, but I'm actually like a total Street Fighter fan and not Mortal Kombat at all. That's like it's like, but what I will say about Mortal Kombat, like I think Ed's right in the way that for video games, I think Street Fighter is more deal, but I think Mortal Kombat might be a bigger thing as far as just like the general public. Like all the guys that I've worked with or friends with that aren't really in the games, they get Mortal Kombat because they just like the idea, like just real grotesque violence, that kind of thing. Where Street Fighter's like, it's cool, all right, but they're just the most grotesque thing is you see someone getting punched and that's it. You're not seeing the emptying of spines and all of that. And I actually found this tweet earlier today, Daniel Ahmad on Twitter. He said that Mortal Kombat has sold 73 million units combined for all of their deals. Smash Brothers did 65.1 million, Tekken 51 million, and Street Fighter 46 million. So it's like Street Fighter as far as overall sold, and as many times as they've released, Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 3 over and over again, it's still not as big as like Mortal Kombat, Smash Bros, and Tekken. And that's surprising to me. I think in the fighting community though, Street Fighter is like the bigger thing, and that's where I'm at. And I love Street Fighter. I really like Street Fighter, but there's no doubt that Mortal Kombat is huge,
Yeah, those are some interesting numbers. And of course, Mortal Kombat came out, I think, almost 10 years before the first Smash Brothers came out, right? Ed, is that
so? Yeah. It was 1992.
8 was the Smash Brothers, right? 1998.
99.
You're 99. Okay, but you're saying Mortal Kombat. Yeah,
from the first one, because it came arcade, and then it came to Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. Okay. And then the rest of the series.
But over 70 million lifetime is impressive numbers. Jacob, what are your thoughts on this story? What's been the impact of Mortal Kombat?
I kind of have a little bit of a controversial take, I guess, on it, in that I think that Mortal Kombat is more recognizable because of how because of the fatalities, because of all the just like over the top things it does. And so I think that the reason it sells so well is because new people are willing to come in and try. People who like aren't super obsessed with becoming great fighting game players. They just want to play and see all the gruesome stuff, and then they'll move on to the next thing. And I think that really works in Mortal Kombat's favor. The thing that I'd be more interested to like see the other fighting game companies fighting game developers take away from this is that I personally believe that like fighting game fans are afraid of change, which I get because they've taken the time to learn all these moves and how like counters and what matchups are better against what. And so if you toss that on its head, they got to start over again, right? Like there's a little bit that they can take with them, but they have to start over. And I think that that's why you get stuff like Street Fighter releasing Street Fighter 2 over and over and over again because people like Street Fighter 2. They know Street Fighter 2. You can't really change it. And so I just hope that these sales figures equate to like Capcom and the company that makes Soul Calibur and all the other fighting game companies. I hope that they like are working on reiterating or changing up the fighting game scene a little bit. I think that genre of game in particular needs a refresh, and I could see Mortal Kombat leading the way on that.
All right, Corey, any final thoughts on this as we move on?
I mean, I don't really have anything to add. I kind of echo everybody. I think Mortal Kombat is just like, it shocked everybody in the 90s with how gruesome it was. And, Ed said there was that low period, but when Mortal Kombat 9 came out, it really revitalized the series as almost like a reboot, right? And NetherRealm became synonymous with telling good fighting game stories, starting with Mortal Kombat 9, and then obviously they've done great story work with Injustice and Injustice 2. So Mortal Kombat is only getting bigger, I feel, right? Especially with the kind of the story stuff they did with 11, right? Yeah, 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are like, in some sort of weird way, are excited to see where the story goes with Mortal Kombat, which is something you can't really say with any other fighting game, really.
Correct. Oh, and also we got the Mortal Kombat theme song that's still popular from the movie. So
yeah, absolutely. I'll just say, in wrapping up this segment, I think Mortal Kombat, being a quality game aside, I think its lasting cultural impact has been the stereotype of violent video games having this effect on society, because we think about those Senate hearings and, Night Trap is a game that's gone by the wayside. It's really just sort of this cultural, outlier. But Mortal Kombat has had staying power. And when people think of violent video games, particularly folks of a certain age, they still think Mortal Kombat as this sort of like gratuitous, turns people into school shooters, which of course has been disproven. So I think when we think about what has been the impact of Mortal Kombat, I think for me, that's what still comes to mind, which of course is a lot of misinformation, but that's perhaps a topic for another day. All right. So Nier, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts music used in Olympics opening ceremony. This is from Adele Anchors at IGN.com. The Olympics opening ceremony featured a medley of music from iconic Japanese video games, including tracks from Nier, Final Fantasy, and Kingdom Hearts. The 2020 Tokyo Olympics kicked off on a Friday with the Parade of Nations, marching out to an array of songs from popular video games developed by Square Enix, Capcom, and Sega. The first song played was Roto's theme from Dragon's Quest, followed by tracks from Monster Hunter and Sonic the Hedgehog, before finally concluding with Soul Calibur. A complete list of songs, just for our listeners really quickly, we had stuff from Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, Tale of Series, Monster Hunter, Kingdom Hearts, Chrono Trigger, Ace Combat, Tale of Series, Monster Hunter, another one from Chrono Trigger, Sonic the Hedgehog, Pro Evolution Soccer, a few more from Final Fantasy, Phantasy Star Universe, Kingdom Hearts, Gradius, Nier, Saga Series, and Soul Calibur. So, a couple of questions for us to think about here. I don't know how many of you watched the opening ceremony for the Olympics, but were there any songs that you were particularly excited about? And what does this story suggest about gaming's impact on the world, particularly with the Olympics following the pandemic? And then a second sort of secondary issue, are you surprised that Nintendo's major IPs weren't featured, particularly since they were so heavily used in the pitch to the Olympic community when Japan first won the Olympics? So, Jacob, I'll start with you. Anything that stood out to you that made you excited? And do you have any sort of suspicions about Nintendo not being involved?
So I've thought about this a lot since it was originally kind of pointed out. I don't think that any of Nintendo's – I think all of Nintendo's music is iconic. I don't think any of it is Olympic level, lifting up the spirits, hey, we're about to have like the peak of performance athlete-wise iconic. Like, I think of RPG music specifically, which is a lot of what this is, and it's all like really like – you always have songs that are titled stuff like Song of the Hero, like Champion Rising, things like that, And I think that this made a lot more sense. The one thing that stuck out to me, though, was that they had a song from Phantasy Star Universe, which came out in 2006 and was like not a good Phantasy Star game. So,
well, isn't that song part of New Genesis though? I think there's like a remix version for the new Genesis version of Phantasy Star 2 or online.
It might be, and if it's remixed, I feel like they should have like mentioned, they should have referenced it from that.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Maybe that's the case. I haven't gotten to play New Genesis yet. I love PSO of the original though. Corey and I actually need to talk about it a little bit. But yeah, no, like that just kind of weirdly stuck out to me. But I really did. I thought about it a lot because everyone was thrown off and people were throwing out like theories about how like, oh, you know, Ninty's mad because it got delayed past Mario's 35th anniversary and yada, yada, yada. And
well, that theory came up is because when they announced that the Olympics were going to Tokyo, Mario was the first character they showed off, right? Like they showed all all this Japanese like iconic imagery, and Mario was clearly front and center, right? And now we're here, and he's nowhere. And maybe he'll be part of the closing ceremonies, maybe he'll be part of something else, but like clearly something there's an issue.
I don't know though, because like when you think about Japan and announcing that the Olympics, a worldwide event, is taking place in Japan, showing Mario is like, yeah, that's a Japanese thing. That's very Japan. But music specifically, I just don't like. What are they gonna have World 1-1 playing and people are supposed to be like, yes, running?
But Jacob, what about like? I mean, could you see athletes walking out to "Ballad of the Goddess" for Skyward Sword? I mean,
it's like. I don't get me wrong. I love Ballad of the Goddess, but I just don't think that like I don't hear Ballad of the Goddess and I'm like, man, I just want to pump iron. I want to do something.
Oh man,
I want to go hurdle.
I Ballad of the Goddess, and I'm like, I hear Ballad of the Goddess, and I'm like, God, this song is so beautiful. It's wonderful.
No, I totally see that as like walking out at the Olympics, Ballad of the Gods. You're in Valhalla. I don't know. I just, to me that. Corey, do you want to just expand on that a little bit about, you know, this idea that, you know, because Mario was featured as part of their pitch to the Olympic Committee. So for it to be completely absent, does that lend any credence to this idea that there is some beef between the Japanese government and Nintendo?
To be honest, I don't think there's anything going on. I just think like, you know, I still feel like if they're going to incorporate something at the end of the closing ceremonies, Mario will be present in some sort of animation, something. Because like, don't forget, like a lot of people are speculating that during the closing ceremonies or like at some point during the Olympics that they're going to show the trailer for the Mario movie, right? Like that's been a theory going around too. And like, I don't think Nintendo really wants to mess that up, but also like, I really don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think that there's anything going on because that just sounds kind of petty even for Nintendo, right? But like
Nintendo is the king of petty.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything going on. But also like to Jacob's point, like I don't really think of any Nintendo music that's gonna like. What are you gonna play like the Hyrule Field music going out there and to you know run a 100-meter dash or something?
Yeah, I mean, I would, but
maybe some of the songs from like the Xenosaga series.
Okay,
like maybe those, but just like there's no Mario song that I think of when I think of the Olympics. There's no Zelda song. There's no anything from Nintendo that I'm like, yes.
I mean, when I think of Olympics, though, I don't really think of Final Fantasy music either, though, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah, But I think that those songs could inspire like greatness more than Nintendo songs can.
Ed, was this a missed opportunity for Mario versus Sonic Olympics? What are we?
It's on sale this week, by the way, everybody. $20.
Also, buy it because it's the only chance that you'll ever get to have the Olympics in 2020.
Yeah, because whatever game that Sonic is in looks terrible. It looks like a PS2 game.
Shade from Ed.
So I think with this, there's nothing going on with Nintendo and Japan. I think, or the Olympics. I think they just use Mario to be like he's known around the world. He kind of even though he represents Nintendo and for some people video games, he's so recognizable. When you see him, you know what it is. So bring out the one thing that's so iconic that kind of represents Japan that everybody can notice. Whether you're a gamer or not, you know somehow in some form or fashion who Mario is. So I think them bringing out Mario, they were just like, yeah. Now for the music thing, I agree. Like, so I could say like, if I had to bring anyone out, I'm gonna use the Smash Brother theme music. I'm gonna bring out when I selected my character. That'd be something that I would bring someone out, but who is connected there to Smash? Who could come out to a Japanese theme compared to what all of these other songs are? You can't really do it for Zelda because you have Symphony of the Goddess, which is beautiful. You go to Symphony of the Goddess concert and you listen to that. Who's trying to hear that at the Olympics?
All right, but what about the martial arts team? They could have walked out to the Smash Bros. Theme.
The martial arts team could have walked out.
Have you
won the
sat
first
down
gold
and
for
listened
Japan
to the
today?
Smash Bros.
Hold on, Jacob, I got this one. The martial arts team could have walked out to Streets of Rage 2 soundtrack.
All right, but they didn't. Nintendo was just gone. Okay, they won the first gold for Japan today. I'm just saying, that was a missed opportunity.
So, I just think that, and then I'm going to turn it over to you, Austin. I kind of just think that Nintendo I think they have bigger plans. And I think with the people that they work with, and there may be a licensing thing too, the people that they work with to get all of this music stuff, I think Nintendo would have just been like, you know what, we only made the deal for you to market our one character, and then that's it. Because it's more recognizable. Though I feel like the Olympics went to Nintendo and not vice versa. So if the Olympics went to Nintendo, it would just be like, we want to get your character to introduce to everybody, because it threw all of us off seeing Mario in the Olympics thing. I think that's what happened with it. And they didn't ask them for music or anything.
I will just go on record and say I think Nintendo's being petty, and they're the king of petty. And I absolutely think it is bizarre that they were so intricately a part of the pitch for the Olympic Committee and are completely absent from the opening ceremony. I do not want to hear that is unrelated.
Can I say one thing? I do like the fact that they got the Final Fantasy victory music, because that is iconic to that. I think that somehow that jingle and stuff kind of fits the Olympics too. Like when you win something, they be like, dun, 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 dun. That feels like it's something Olympian to win to. So I'm glad that they included that.
Mm-hmm. So Austin, any songs that stuck out to you? And also, what does this say about the impact of video games in general that we have, these Olympics, featuring them so prominently?
Well, and it's of course a big deal that Japan has these games, because we owe so much of video game history towards Tokyo, Japan, that it made sense. Like, if you would have said that this was in Russia, they were playing video game music, I would understand. I don't know why would they do that, but it made perfect sense for Tokyo, Japan. I was of course excited for all the Chrono Trigger songs, especially Frog's theme. That's one of my favorite pieces of music. So I was all in for that. I am gonna say though, I'm on David's side here. I think Nintendo's a little petty, and I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on, because there's two things that I've got going through my mind. One, this is a stretch, and I don't know Japanese politics at all, so I'm not gonna say that I know anything. But I wonder if maybe they just didn't want their music associated, like Nintendo didn't want their music associated with any other country, maybe something like that. But another one that I think, and I think this is more likely, is they wouldn't have someone else would be streaming their music on their platform, on their channel, and it wouldn't be Nintendo. So if you go watch MDC and you go watch all these things, why they wouldn't want Nintendo music on there, because it's not on their channel and they don't have control over it. And like I said with my fun fact earlier.
I'm envisioning Nintendo sending a cease and desist to the Olympic Committee for their.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if that was like, we don't really want you having our music on YouTube when it's not in our possession. We don't want that. So and it wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me, because I have to disagree that when I listen to Olympic music, it's not to get me going. It's more for the inspiration. I mean, think about that Olympics 2 and the one that's drawn out or whatever. It doesn't get you hyped. It's just inspiring to watch all those people gathered in one place. And so what music is more inspiring than some of the music from Zelda and all that? So I just...
So I have a question. We'll move on. Sorry. Why did the Olympians go to third party only to make this list? Because that's what it kind of feels like, that the Olympian...
I'm sure because Capcom and Square Enix are like, yeah, we'll take publicity. Go ahead, take it.
Why would they also go to Sony? They didn't like Sony has some games, and they didn't even go to Sony for that. So what? Like that's weird that they would go to a lot of third party. I think different people in the committee and the Olympians went to third party to get that stuff early and just excluded Nintendo and Sony. That's my idea.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, but most of these are like classic games, aren't they? Or like really heavy in Japan, whereas Sony isn't big in Japan.
Right.
Weirdly enough, Sony's not.
Right. They're all third party companies, though. That's the thing.
I don't know. My favorite theory is that Nintendo was getting ready to send cease and desist to the Olympic Committee. I'm going with that one. I love that.
I can't believe we just spent 15 minutes talking about the Olympics. First of all,
all right. You know what? Weirdly enough, being the sports guy, this is the most I'll talk about the Olympics because I just don't.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to our last story. So Nintendo leaked list scrapped Wii project. So this is also from Brian at NintendoEverything.com. Quote, stemming from today's Nintendo leaks and the overall Giga leak, an internal company document has been spotted that reveals plans for early games on Wii and projects that were canceled. To say the least, there are some very interesting titles listed. One of the highlights is a Metroid game from Intelligent Systems, which would have launched after Metroid Prime. It also appears that a sequel to Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix was once being considered. Here's the full list of items that were included in the document, which also includes tidbits of games released, courtesy of Mondo Mega. So Tennis for Wii, possibly folded into Wii Sports. Excite Truck is known as World's Toughest Race. Notes say a racing game that looks like a 4WD truck version of Excite Bike with realistically oriented graphics ended up putting Excite in the title. Project Hammer is listed as Hammerman. Notes aiming to create Dynasty Warriors type game that will sell in North America. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn is just called Fire Emblem GC2. We also have Sphere, unreleased space game. Metroid, developed by Intelligent Systems. Notes say release sometime after Metroid Prime. Project X by Retro Studios. The, quote, action game featuring Sheik from Zelda Ocarina of Time. Night Wars by Kuju, fantasy-based strategy game by Battalion War Assets. Super Smash Bros. Brawl is listed as Project Sora, developed by HAL. A sword fighting game. Mario Strikers Charged, also called Super Mario Strikers 2. Revo R by HAL, aiming for prop art style graphics, genre listed as racing. Jump Superstars for Wii and DDR2 with featuring Mario, developed by Konami. So, reactions to this leaked list from the Giga Leak. Which of these canceled titles has you most excited? How close do you think we were to getting any of these? Jacob, I want to start with you. What stands out to you?
I don't know. Weirdly, like nothing, I guess. I'm more interested to know because Nintendo is very big on reusing stuff and older. You know, there's the talk about how Wind Waker felt like it was missing dungeons, and then Aonuma came on in an interview later talking about, I think, Twilight Princess HD, and was like, you know, or maybe it was the Wind Waker HD remake, and he was like, well, we've actually kind of used those dungeons already in other games, and you wouldn't really be able to tell what they were, but we've used those concepts already. And so I'm personally more interested to know what these concepts turned into versus just like being scrapped totally. And there's a lot of games on there that we know did become games, like how Brawl was listed as a different project, Mario Strikers was listed as a different project. So like the Sheik game, for instance, I would love to see what was in that enough that they could call it a like give it a development cycle, and then now it's gone. So where did they put it? Like that's what I would be interested in seeing. But any of these games in particular, like despite the fact that we get Mario and Zelda games a lot and not a whole lot else, like a lot of weird stuff. People are always asking to bring back IPs. I really do believe that Nintendo is constantly having people come in and say like, hey, here's this concept that we have for an IP I'll have or for a game. And they just aren't, you know, for whatever reason, it's not up to that Nintendo snuff. So
Jacob, does Metroid Dread give you hope that we would get a Sheik game though?
It does. It does. And that's like, I mean, that's, I think it was something like 17 years in the making from when they announced that to when it's finally coming out. And so like, I don't think there's, if anything, I think this is just either, like I said, it's something that's gone into other games, or we might see it in the future, and maybe this is something to look back on then, to read more into it about maybe what the development life was like for that game.
Corey, what about you? What stands out to you on this list? What are your thoughts?
Well, the game that sticks out as the Intelligent Systems Metroid game sounds weird because they're known for kind of strategy RPGs, or like Paper Mario and Fire Emblem are like their two main franchises, right? So and Advance Wars to an extent, right? So to see Metroid in almost seeing like a Metroid Final Fantasy Tactics style game would be like really weird, but also could be kind of cool if she teams up with other bounty hunters to, like that would be kind of cool. But to Jacob's point, like Nintendo, they prototype so many different things, right, as one game, and they turn out to be another, right? We talked about this maybe like a month ago or so, but the 128 Mario's demo ended up being Pikmin, right? Like that was a thing. Project Giant Robot that they showed off for Wii actually became that Labo kit that came out 2 years ago. The weird kind of security terminal thing ended up being that Star Fox spinoff game that came with Star Fox Zero. So like they prototype stuff all the time, and they could have just used things that they showed off in other games to the Jacob's point. So I mean, we've seen examples of it before. We're going to see it again. I can't wait to see in like 5 years Project Hammer come back as something really weird. So
yeah. Austin, what about you then? What sticks out to you, and what are your thoughts on this Giga Leak?
I mean, I will echo everything with the Metroid. I'm picturing like a Metroid XCOM type game that would be really fun to play. I would be all down for that. I mean, the big name that pops up to me is Mario Strikers Charge, because it did come out. It just missed the initial launch window, I guess, that they were going for. I guess it was wanting to be a launch title for the Wii, which would have been great for me, but probably bad for me because I wouldn't have played anything else on the Wii. I would have just played.
It would have been better. I would have bought that instead of Red Steel.
Ooh, oh God, Red Steel. Yeah. Oh,
it was bad. Second one was great. First
Koro Rimpa was the best launch game. Okay.
Wait, what was?
Koro Rimpa, Marble Mania.
I'm still stuck on how bad Red Steel was. That game was truly awful.
Gosh, dude, that game was so bad. They tried.
All right, Ed, take us home on this topic. What stands out to you?
Okay, so of course Project Hammer, I have talked about that because there's video of it showing it was in development, and I could agree with Corey. If it came back, I think that with their good relationship with Platinum Games, they would do Project Hammer, and it'll be a whole different thing. The Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, I kind of would have been like, what is this game? And I think I would have brought it. I think it would have been one of those, if I got the physical version and I still got it wrapped up, I could probably sell this for $5.5 million.
Didn't they make it? Didn't they have a Fire Emblem that was a sequel to the GameCube game though? Right?
There's a Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn.
It was Radiant Dawn was for GameCube, and then Path of Radiance was for Wii. So like I don't know. Is this just like a different scrapped version and they restarted, or?
It sounds like it.
Yeah. It sounds like it. Yeah.
Because I have both of those games somewhere, and like it's weird because like half of my GameCube collection, like from like A to L, is missing, and half of my Wii collection from A to L is missing, and it's like it's killing me because I have both those Fire Emblem games. I have Twilight Princess on GameCube. Like just bringing up bad memories.
You got to stop alphabetizing your collection there, Jacob.
No, and the last game I'm looking at is Revo R by Hal. Like, what would that have been?
It's just another Kirby game, dude. Just
I don't know. They if it's a different thing, I wonder what the soundtrack is going to be. Would it be like Wild Siren? Like, is it going to be like Wild Sayonara? With that pop influence going on with that artwork or something? Or what about when they were like Japan had that. The Mario universe, they was in these pop-looking 80s outfit styles and everything for the commercial with that girl from a band that like was really cool, really nice looking. I think they had cases for 3DS that had that kind of design. I wonder if that would have been something like that in this game. Because Rebel Art just like, how doing another game outside of Kirby for Nintendo with an art style? I think that would have been something that we definitely would have been talking about here at Pop Block.
Conspiracy theory, it's a racing game with a pop art. Kirby is from planet Pop Star. It's Kirby Air Riders 2.
Oh, no.
Ooh, I like that theory.
Hey, that's a good theory.
I'll just wrap us up by just saying I am so, and this isn't a new rumor, but the rumored Sheik game has me so interested. And to think about where the Zelda sort of franchise is now, it gives me hope that we could get a spin-off game that's just devoted to Impa. Which, with Age of Calamity and her role in Breath of the Wild, Impa has really been elevated. I'm still holding out hope that she's the final Smash fighter. It probably won't happen, but
I still think she is. Like I said that she was probably going to be part of this fighter pass. I thought she would have been revealed by now, but like it lines up so perfectly because they're adding that story DLC for Age of Calamity. She's clearly a fan favorite of this game, right? You see fan art of her all the time. Like, I still think the last Smash character is going to be a Nintendo character, and everyone's going to complain on the internet. But I think Impa is the one Nintendo character that, like besides someone like the character from what's that RPG everybody wants somebody from?
Kingdom Hearts.
No,
Kingdom Hearts.
No,
Sora?
I think Sora would be awesome. That's who I would want.
Lloyd?
But
is it Lloyd from Tales?
No, it's the I forget. Golden Sun.
Dante?
Golden Sun.
Oh,
Isaac.
Yeah, that one.
It's Isaac.
One of Nintendo's overrated RPGs.
It's fighting.
Dang, I'm not going to come.
But just to. I know everybody wants that game, but I'm saying like Impa is just like the perfect character to add to this cast, especially with like when you play Age of Calamity, like all the different types of weird moves that she has and that cloning ability that she has would really throw people off, right? Like that, she's just perfect.
She'd be perfect. But this is
the thing about it. I'm not ready for that because I will rewatch the trailer like all day. I would be nagging each and every one of y'all. Be like, I need to talk to someone about this trailer. If that happens, I'm nagging y'all because I'll be okay, we need to break this down because I would probably fall in love with it, of course.
I do think it would be fitting for the final Smash fighter to be a Nintendo character, but that's another conversation. So, at any rate, just getting back to this story.
Unless it's Zelda, unless it's like a second version of Zelda, like Breath of the Wild Zelda.
No more versions of characters we already have. Impa is probably the one character from the Zelda universe that stands out and could hold her own as her own character.
And like each different, like I mean, I would want Age of Calamity, but you could do like a Ocarina skin,
Skyward Sword skin. Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, so I don't know that idea that there was a Sheik game gives me hope for that. And so I guess looking at this list, it's nice to know that Nintendo is willing to do something in the Zelda universe that's not just the mainline story. So that is the end of our family news segment, though. So thank you, panel. I'm gonna send it back to you, Ed.
All right, everybody, it's time to get into our doc mode. Some people still have this idea that Nintendo games are kiddie and their games are easier to get through. Some say they aren't that challenging. Well, that is until they pick up a controller and play the game and then die. They try again and die. Time goes by and they are still on the level or section dying. It gets to a point that they give up. So, my fellow elite block agents, let's touch on Nintendo's difficulty in games, the child idea gamers carry, and why Nintendo's first-party games aren't to be laughed at, no matter the age when it comes to testing your game skills, puzzle solving, and patience. Also, and this is for you too, chat, what is the one Nintendo first-party game that is extremely difficult for you? So, me and Black was actually talking about Mario, Paper Mario, the Origami King, and one of the bosses is kind of frustrated because of the puzzle mechanic that is the battle system, and it got me thinking. And I've been writing a blog about this, about why is it that Nintendo's difficulty just gets to people? Just be like, this game is frustrating and I can't do it. But they'll enjoy the pain of something of a Souls game, or even sometimes a Mega Man game that's very challenging. What is it about Nintendo's difficulty when it comes to their games? Corey, I'm going to start with you.
I mean, I think it's just Nintendo's games, a lot of them are easy to play and hard to master, right? Like, you can fly through Mario's World 1-1, right? But like, you look at the, and I know this is just like an example that everybody uses, but you look at that game design and it's like, if you don't jump, that Goomba's gonna kill you, right? Like, it just does a good job of teaching you how to play without actually telling you how to play, right? The gap that's just a little too wide for a normal jump, well, you have to sprint to jump over it, right? Like, and then as you progress through the game, they teach you various ways to use this mechanics, yada, yada. Just a story that's 45 years old at this point. But I just think Nintendo is the master of really teaching people how to play the game without having to master the game, right? Like, we talked about Yoshi's Woolly World and Yoshi's Crafted World, right? Like, those games are really easy games to play, right? Those games are made for kids, but Ed, we had a discussion about Woolly World, right? Where like, if you're trying to get those collectibles and everything and trying to find all the secrets and stuff, that game is incredibly difficult to
yes.
100%, right? And I think Nintendo has always been the master of that in terms of the games that they aim to kids, right? Like, maybe Zelda is kind of out of that category, maybe Metroid is out of that category, right? Because those games require a different level of concentration and remembering things and going back and backtracking and stuff like that. And but you just look at Mario, you look at Pikmin, you look at Kirby, Mario Kart to an extent, right? Mario is incredibly easy to pick up and play and have fun, right? But to master the drifting and the jumping and knowing when to use your speed boosts, or knowing when to not go all the way with the mega boost, right? Like, that game is incredibly difficult to master. Have you ever watched an incredibly good Mario Kart player? It's like they're playing a different game, right? And you look at Smash too, right? Like, turn the items on, 4 players, you guys are just smashing buttons, picking up items, throwing them at each other, but then you watch a Smash competition, it's like they're playing a different game. So, I mean, that's my thought. Like, Nintendo has always been the master of easy pick up and play fun, but if you really want to master it, like, there are ways to do that, and it makes the game that much more difficult and fun for people. 100%ing a Mario game, like Mario 3D World, right, is the game that instantly comes to mind, which is like,
it's hard.
It's really fun, and to beat all the worlds and stuff, whatever. It's like, it's relatively easy to get through all the worlds and beat Bowser at the end and whatever. But if you want to get all the green stars, if you want to get all the stamps, if you want to do the challenges after you beat Bowser, like, that game is one of the most difficult platformers I've ever played in my life. And
those extra levels are ridiculous.
Yeah, they're so difficult, and so that's kind of where I'm at on Nintendo. Like, they're just masters at that design, and they always have been.
David, as our professor of the Legend of Zelda series, Zelda is no joke, too, when it comes to difficulties. How do you go about difficulty in that series? You want to speak on it?
Yeah, I think in answering this question, I want to talk about something Corey said. I think part of Nintendo's business model has always been to appeal to the widest range of gamers as possible. And Nintendo is the consummate professional video game company. Like, they have always been very intentional about their strategy of a wide appeal. And one way that they do that is by being super easy to access and to enter, but hard to master. And I think Zelda is a good example of that. Going back to the original Zelda in 1986, there was the Master Quest, right? That second quest, which was significantly harder than the first one, right? So sure, you could play it, but if you wanted to challenge yourself, that opportunity was there. Thinking about, more recent entries like Breath of the Wild, I played it on both the regular and the Master Quest, and where my Master Quest died was trying to do the Trial of the Sword, which is like sort of the ultimate prove your mettle in Zelda world. To finish Trial of the Swords on all 3 levels in Master Quest was just impossible. Like, I gave up, and I know that there's people out there that have done it. So Nintendo seems to give people the opportunity to challenge themselves as little or as much as they want. And I think it's good business. And it's also great for gaming because you can challenge yourself to the ability that you want. And I'm one of those people that firmly believes it is totally okay to play a game on very easy if that's what you want to do. And there's no shame there, and you shouldn't be criticized. Games are meant to be fun. And for some people, playing on very hard is fun. It's not Nintendo, but when I play alien shooter games, I want to play in very hard. I want the most extreme challenge because that's what I find enjoyable. When I'm playing Zelda games, I don't necessarily like the harder modes because I just want the story, and that's okay too. So Nintendo gives me the freedom to do both.
Austin, when it comes to Nintendo difficulty, do you find it's on a different level than Sony or even Microsoft in that sense when it comes to difficulty in first-party games?
Well, I think going along with everyone else is saying that, easy to enter, easy to start, hard to master. I think another key thing is when you play a difficult game that's on like Sony or Xbox, there are ways where you can upgrade your player, you can upgrade your equipment, you can kind of cheat the game a little bit, you can find them in a corner, especially in like the 3D type games. When it comes to games like Mario, it's all your skill. There's nothing you can do. It's all about whether you can jump from this point to this point, jump on this enemy, and how you play the game and how you take routes. Like it's really just based all on skill. I don't have a lot of problems with 3D games, but like when it comes to like, especially, I don't know if it's like my dyslexia, but like 2.5D games like drive me insane. I can't do it. Like, you put on here what's the hardest Nintendo first party game. I had such a hard time with Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze that like my eyes was just like, I can't see what's going on here. Like I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I can't find the rhythm. So I think that's the kind of thing where like Nintendo, there's a lot of hard things on it, but like the key thing is just it's all simple things, whether you can do it right in this the only right way. You have to do it the right way. You don't have you don't have enough leash like you do in some of the other games that are popular on like Sony and Microsoft. So I think they have both. I think they do both really, really well as far as easy and hard. And that challenge is there. They always make that challenge there if you want it. As far as getting through games, I like hardly any Mario game or any Nintendo games really give me trouble just getting through them. But if I want that extra content, that's when it does get difficult, and it does test like, are you really as good at these Nintendo games as you think you are? And so, but yeah.
All right. And Jacob, as part of the other community that you are, and you stream Nintendo games, do you find that when you are streaming a difficult part in a Nintendo game, the community they get involved, they get interested because they want to see you play and get through it and everything? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so in that regard, yes, I think my community does get involved. I actually have a lot of streamers have this where it's a red card and they can imply extra limitations. So for instance, in Skyward Sword, there's this bit where you lose your weapons and your gear, and the easiest thing to do, or no, I'm sorry, not that. There's a bit where you're having to guide a little robot with a cauldron through a enemy territory, and I stepped into it and I was like, oh cool, bow, and just started sniping people. And then AJ from my chat was like, hey, red card, you can't use the bow anymore. And that I was like, it was like banging my head against the wall. And I think but it was fun because it got to the point where the guy who unleashed the red card on me, was like, you don't have to do the red card anymore, man. It's fine. And I was like, no, I know that I can do it. I'm like 99% there. I just have to figure out that last 1%. But it became like a puzzle. And I think that the conversation of difficulty in games is an interesting one, because gaming as a medium for digesting media is you're able to get out of it as much as you want to put into it, right? And I think that rather than whether or not a game is difficult is less so the question as to how much are people willing to put into the game. Because yeah, games like Dark Souls, incredibly hard. However, there are speedrunners who can beat it in under an hour because they found cheeses, they found glitches, they found, hey, if I build my character this exact way, nobody can touch me. Like, and that's where I think that what everyone on the panel was talking about with Nintendo, I think that they're very good at. I think that they're good at showing you, we'd like for you to do it this way. You can do it the other way. It's not going to be as difficult, but we'd like for you to do it this way. But the way that they want you to do it is the way that allows people to come in and enjoy the game. And so I think that's why Nintendo games get such a response of being like, oh, well, these games are made for kids. And it's because, well, yeah, they are. And what I think the core essence of that is that there are gamers who like challenge, and then there are gamers who just want to play the game. And for those who just want to play the game, they're going to find the easiest method to pulling off whatever they need to pull off. And that's going to make it seem like a game isn't difficult, because it's not. Nintendo makes games for everybody. So it's not trying to be difficult. It's trying to be so that your 4-year-old daughter, niece, nephew, whatever, can play it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, because we're going to move on. I think I like when Nintendo loves to hold your hand. They'll hold your hand. They'll teach you to think, and then they'll give you a boss or a puzzle or something, and you'll be like, okay, use what you learned. Okay, you got it, good. And then when they stop holding your hand, they be like, okay, now it's time for you to see what you could do without us. And we're going to challenge you just a little bit. Okay, you did that challenge, good. Now we're going to change the pattern. Because I think as adults, we look for pattern in games. And when we find a pattern in games, we can use our skills to defeat that section or that boss or that enemy and stuff. But Nintendo likes to change it up and be very sneaky. You know, we as adults turn into that kid mentality to be like, Nintendo, hold my hand. I need you to hold my hand. I can't do this part, because we are so used to them of doing that. And when it gets really challenging, like people who love the Fire Emblem series, you go back and you play those first games. You go play the one that they just released on Switch for like time exclusive, and see how permadeath is important. Permadeath will ruin your emotions for games, you know, because it'd be like, you get to a point that you so attached to these characters that you built them up, and when you lose them and you can't save it, or the game saves automatically because you lost them, people will lose their minds. But that's part of Nintendo's difficulty. Go ahead.
Could I just jump in really quick too? I think in talking about this topic, we got to point out too that Nintendo has ties to arcade history, and older generations of gamers know that arcades, and then consequently the original Nintendo games, were much harder than games are today. And it was a very different mentality. You know, anybody that gets a chance to watch Ed play Contra will have some appreciation for your ability to memorize where those bullets are going to be, because that's how you get through the level, right? Like gamers today, it's, you know, not right or wrong. It's just different.
Yes. So quickly, what is the child mentality that people have for Nintendo? Is it because of their graphics, or is it because of the characters that they use, like it don't, or even the story that they don't tell? What about you, David? How do you see that?
Well, I think just because so many people played Nintendo as a child, because that was the dominant game, that we still associate Nintendo with childhood. And I don't know that Nintendo's games are necessarily childish, but I think we have the stereotype because it's the older console company.
What about you, Corey?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I've gotten in the habit of when I'm not talking to mute myself. So, I mean, I kind of agree with David a lot. They're just, they just Nintendo's Nintendo, right? Like they just know. They just know. They know what they're doing. They know how to get you, right? Mm-hmm. Ed's like. I don't know. I feel like they got Ed early, right? There's no turning back, right? They just got him. Look at him. Look at that grin. He was probably in there playing Mario Brothers, not Super Mario Brothers, the one where they actually just like jump on Koopa Troopas out of the pipes.
Oh wow!
And then Donkey Kong came along.
I love that game.
Donkey Kong came along and they gave Mario a hammer.
What about you, Jacob? What is this child mentality that people think about Nintendo having in their games?
I think it just goes down to, I think it boils down to the content in the games. Nintendo doesn't make, first person shooters, killing real people, blowing up giant aliens. They don't make M-rated games, really, is what I'm getting at. And I think that kind of leads you towards the path of saying, oh, well, they make games for kids. And they do, but they're not. That doesn't mean that the gameplay might not be necessarily for kids, but the subject material is for kids, or is trying to appeal to kids. And
yeah, to play off Jacob's point, they want to position themselves as the Disney of video games, right? Like they always have. I feel like they just look at Disney and they're like, we want to be that, but for video games, right? And I mean, obviously they have a theme park now, and like, yeah, they'll go out and publish, mature games, right? Like we see Bayonetta, Astral Chain, some other, Eternal Darkness on the GameCube. Like they're no stranger to appealing to an older audience, right? I mean, but neither does Disney, right? You look at the Marvel stuff, look at Pirates of the Caribbean, look at a lot of things that they do outside of Mickey Mouse and their animated films and Pixar, right? Like they own Marvel and Star Wars now to try to appeal to that older audience. Now, that I feel like that's the equivalent of Nintendo going out and publishing a Platinum game, right? Except obviously Disney went out and bought Lucasfilm, but Lucasfilm still exists as its own entity, right? Marvel still exists as its own entity. And so, like, I think Nintendo knows how to make their core games and things that they kind of struggle with or kind of want to like take a chance on, but not use their own resources on, right? That's when they go out and say, we're going to go publish Bayonetta. We're going to go try to get, one of these other games, right? Because there's quite a few mature rated titles on Switch, right? I mean, they've made deals with Bethesda to get Doom and Wolfenstein and Skyrim on the Switch, right? Those aren't kid games at all, and I know they didn't publish those games, but like those are still mature experiences you can have on the Switch. And also, like, if you just open the eShop, every other page has some sort of visual novel.
Anime girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's flashbacks to the Vita, honestly.
Guys, I just want you to know that Bouncy Beach is coming out on Thursday this week. So
oh goodness,
and they're not talking about beach balls, guys. So.
Austin, I want to get you in. A Nintendo's childlike imagery for some gamers is very different from Sony's, and we heard how Sony want to go for that more mature story driven kind of narrative for their games. What are your thoughts about that? Like, what do you think about Nintendo's childlike imagery for their games?
I mean, I like it just because for Sony, we don't get very many of those games. We get, Sackboy every once in a while. We're getting Ratchet and Clank, of course, which was an amazing game. But we get those very few experiences where I can just kind of play the game and just really enjoy just like a short game, basic game. And I mean basic in a good way, as in not one that's going to take all my time away from me that I can jump back into at any point in time. And so that, to me, like, I'm glad that Nintendo, like, I want Nintendo to succeed alongside with PlayStation and Xbox, just because they do stuff that they don't. Like, I mean, Corey, tell me what childlike game is on Xbox but besides like Busby or whatever.
I mean, I think they have tried to an extent, especially recently they have addressed. They're like, yeah, we don't have a lot of games that are aimed towards kids. That's something we need to work on. But like, it's not like they don't have the IP to do it, right? Banjo, Viva Pinata.
Yeah.
It's a Roblox machine too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh yeah,
and a Fortnite V-Buck generator too.
Right.
Xbox has addressed that they don't. That's something they're severely lacking. And I mean, they just added Blink's the Time Sweeper. I think Psychonauts is kind of that Pixar level of, yeah, kids can play it, but adults will get more out of it because there's hints, winks, and nods there.
Which Psychonauts was supposed to be a Microsoft first-party game.
Yeah. Psychonauts was originally supposed to be published by Microsoft, and then Microsoft pulled out at the last minute, and Majesco published it. And now, come full circle, Microsoft now owns Double Fine. So, but I mean, it's not like Halo or Gears are definitely not kids games, right? Forza is. They've had interesting takes, right? Like they had the Lego expansion last year for Horizon 4, which was well regarded. They did Hot Wheels for 3. Like, they've experimented, but it's not like they have anything that's engaging for kids, and that's something I would I mean, they went out and tried to publish Super Lucky's Tale, which is okay. Like, it's an okay platformer. They've got Crash and Spyro on there, which are not necessarily Xbox games, but they're on Xbox, right? Like, so they have options.
Well, kind of similar to the way that Nintendo has mature rated options, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
it's a flipped script. That's why Nintendo is for kids, and they both have them. They both have everything that you could kind of want, but it's just, what are they focused on?
Yeah. So I would like them to see it. I could actually see Microsoft trying to compete with Nintendo because like, even though Nintendo owns Diddy Kong Racing, Rare owns all the characters except for Diddy Kong, so they could potentially make their own kart racer with like Conker and Banjo and probably the Battletoads in there at some point. So like, I would like them to go that route. And now I'm excited. I want a Microsoft kart racer.
Well, so I want to ask you guys the final question, and then we're going to get into Play with Power. I'll start with you, Jacob. What is that one Nintendo first-party game that is just extremely difficult for you?
His eyes. He's like, I'm thinking.
People like Jacob don't have hard games.
That's right. Professional gamer right here. No, I've never been good at F-Zero. I think it's because I started with Mario Kart, and so that, like, when I play F-Zero, I'm thinking Mario Kart, and then it's not, and so I've never been good at F-Zero, and but I guess that would be my best answer. Yeah, is the F-Zero series.
Okay, Corey, what is that extreme difficult game for you?
I think anything Metroid, really. And it's not because the game is difficult. I think it's more because the like games where you have to backtrack a lot really throw me off, because I'm not like the brightest person, or I can't really remember a lot of things, right? So like, backtracking gives me a lot of difficulty, especially in those 2D games where, like, not that the maps look the same, but like I'm like, I really struggle positioning. Oh, well, I came from here and now I'm down here, but now I have this weapon. So if I go back up here, I can access here. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I think those are the games that get me. Kid Icarus too, to an extent, although Kid Icarus is just difficult in all kinds of ways. But I haven't really spent a lot of time with Kid Icarus. So I would say, like, the only Metroid game I've ever beaten besides Prime 1 and 2 is the original, right? And Ed, you and I played through Super Metroid, what, last year, 2 years ago?
Last year, yes.
And that was fun, but you were doing most of the playing. So
you were supporting me with hand claps.
I was. right stick for hand claps.
Just because I haven't gotten it in yet this episode, you would play Kid Icarus if it was a Kid Icarus Soulsborne game. So
I would.
Go.
I would. You know what, Jacob? I would.
There's no shame in pulling out the paper, Corey, for Super Metroid. I played Super Metroid. I pulled out the paper. That's what I did as a kid. I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna write out the map. I don't care.
David, what is that one extreme difficult game for you?
Well, everything Corey said about Metroid is definitely true for me. I just bought Samus Returns, and I'm going to give it another shot here. But also, the game that I want to love so badly because I love the lore, but I am terrible at, is Castlevania. I like those games.
First party Nintendo.
Well, okay. I mean, but weren't they originally for the NES? Weren't those first party?
No,
no, that was Konami.
Well, it was third party.
But they weren't on anything. I mean, okay, but they were exclusive to Nintendo, right?
Yeah, I'm with you there, David. Like, Castlevania. I mean, it's the same at that point. It's like, I know it didn't really become like a Metroidvania until Symphony of the Night and Dracula X or Rondo Blood or whatever
Simon's Quest, but it's known for
all right.
But I mean, like that too is like, those games are incredibly difficult because of the backtracking and stuff.
Yeah, they just kill me. But all right, but if you're gonna make me pick a truly first-party Nintendo game, I'll say Star Fox. I'd never been able to finish a Star Fox game.
What? Those games are easy.
Like Star Fox for was it 64 Nintendo? Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo first.
The Super Nintendo one's difficult. Remember when we bought the Super Nintendo Classics, Ed, and we played Star Fox 2 for like an hour, and it was like it was the most. It was rough. That game.
We understand why it didn't come out.
Yeah.
Yes. So before I get to you, Austin, I'm going to say mine. And this, of course, is The Legend of Zelda 2. The localization, fighting with that butter knife, the hit detection, all that game is frustrating. It's still, to this very day, frustrating and difficult for me.
Isn't that where the I am error meme comes
from? Yes.
I am bug.
Yeah.
Yes. And I know I had to look at a strategy guide to beat that game, but playing that back in the 80s, as a kid, I used to beat NES games without no problem besides Strider. That game frustrated the crap out of me to the point where I almost wanted to cry. And I hated seeing Ganon with the game over laughing at me because I was just like, what is this thing? Like, because there's a fight with a knight. And so you're supposed to hit in the head, but because of the timing and the range of your attack, he lifts the shield up. It keeps going up and down. So it's just like, how in the heck am I supposed to fight this thing?
Get good, Ed.
So
those iron knuckles were brutal. When you have your little toothpick sword that doesn't reach very far.
Talk about a game that needs a remake is Zelda 2 needs a Link's Awakening style from the ground up remake.
Yep.
And Zelda 2 is the one that had the high jump that you thrust down on enemies before DuckTales did. So,
DuckTales is better.
Yeah,
I love DuckTales.
DuckTales is great.
Yes. So, Legend of Zelda 2 is my trust me, Majora's Mask is challenging, but it's easier to get into. And I love Majora's Mask for that.
No, you don't. Don't lie to everybody.
No, cut that out. Cut that out of the episode.
Ed does not like Majora's Mask.
I say I loved it because it was easier to get into.
Okay.
I'm just leaving it at that. David's giving me that look to me like.
I believe your exact words were, "I love Majora's Mask," and there wasn't anything after that.
So, Austin, as our special guest, we're going to let you end the segment. What is that one first-party extreme game, difficulty game?
I mentioned it earlier. I don't know what it is, but the 2.5D games, and I'm not really great at side-scrolling games. If it's like if the screen moves with you, I'm really good at Mega Man because it's on one screen at a time. I can do those, and like on Cuphead, I would play really good on the bosses. But when it came to the platforming stuff, I would lose my mind. But I can beat Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3 no problem. I can beat Super Mario World no problem. When it got to the Super Mario Brothers Wii, I just like broke. Like I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with me. And with like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, like I beat it, but I was like wanting to pull my hair out at the end of the game. Especially that last boss fight. It had me so bad so many times. Talking about hitboxes, I just don't understand it. I don't understand this hitbox at all for Donkey Kong. But yeah, I think anything really 2.5D, that's my weakness. Everything else I've been pretty okay.
Okay. I know David said Castlevania mine would have been Battletoads. If I was going third party.
Battletoads is unfair. I don't even count that.
That game.
You just got to memorize the pattern, guys. It's fine.
Oh, that bike level.
Left, right, left, right, jump.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That in Skyward Sword, you have to just swing the sword so dizzy the eyes. That's me playing Battletoads with that. But everybody, we're gonna get into playing with power. Austin, as our guest, what have you been playing with power? Because you just beat a certain game. So what have you been playing with power?
Yeah, I beat the adventure career mode in Mario Golf Super Rush last night. I was getting really close to the Snow King or Frozen King, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna power through this because I'm this close. And then I wish Wario and Waluigi. I mean, this might be spoilers, I guess. I don't know if I should be saying this kind of stuff, but I wish Wario and Waluigi would have been more of the game. That's all I'm gonna say. I wish they would have been more for the game because when they were in, it was a lot of fun. I really like the game. Like I like the gameplay. I don't think it's as good as Everybody's Golf, just because it's not as deep, like mechanics wise. But for a Mario game, it's more about the characters. I have a few complaints about it, but it's nothing I couldn't just get by with. I was okay with it. So yeah, but I did enjoy it overall. I don't regret buying it. And I hope that the DLC comes out soon. I really hate that. Like my brother was talking to me. He's like, "What? Did you get the Mario Golf game?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Did you do the New Donk City yet?" I was like, "Well, no." He's like, "It's on the commercial." I was like, "Yeah, but it's not on there yet." And I was like, "Man, Nintendo's really got these kids thinking that they're gonna get New Donk City around day one, and they're not." Like that. I was a little disappointed in that, but overall it's a good game, and that's really all I've been playing on Nintendo. So unless you have questions about Scarlet Nexus or Splitgate,
we will talk about that. We will talk about that later. David, what have you been playing with power?
Yeah, I'm getting really close to beating Triforce Heroes, which, as I always say, it's a vastly underrated Link game. I think I have one. Well, yeah, it's really good, and it's actually one of those that I would love if they just threw on the Switch because the multiplayer would be great. So I think I have one more area in that game, and I'm done. I, of course, played a ton of Skyward Sword, so I've been playing through that, and a little bit of Fortnite trying to finish the Battle Pass, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. Jacob, what have you been playing with power?
Let's see. I just beat Castlevania, the original Castlevania, for the very first time ever. I was very proud of myself for that. That's been like a bookshelf thing for a while. You hush. Sorry, my dog's talking to me. And so now I'm playing Skyward Sword. I'm playing a lot of Pokemon Unite. That game has sucked me back into the MOBA genre. That game is so much fun. We played it on the Otter Kingdom Community Game Night. And then I just started today. I started oh god, creature from the deep, creature from the well.
Yeah.
It's like an indie pinball type of
Yes.
action game.
Yes.
That it's pretty neat. I'm not very far in it right now, but I think it's gonna pull me in, and I'm gonna like start dreaming about playing it when I'm not playing it and such like that. It's turning out really cool. But yeah, so Pokemon Unite, Skyward Sword, and Creature from the Well, Creature from the Deep, whichever one it is.
Creature from the well. Yeah. Corey, what have you been playing with Power?
Honestly, I didn't really get to game a whole lot this week. I've been trying to because like once I start a project, it's like if I don't get it done, it's just gonna bother me. So I played a lot of Photoshop this weekend.
So you've been designing with Power.
Well, yeah. Plus, like work's been really crazy, and I've just been trying to find a new balance, and it's been kind of difficult, to be honest. So I'm trying to rearrange my schedule so I can actually get some gaming in. I did play a little bit of Mario Golf, a couple rounds of Mario Golf, because it's really easy to jump into for like 10 or 15 minutes and play around, you know. I also played a little bit of Skyward Sword again. I plan on playing a lot more this week, so
Okay.
I really like Skyward Sword a lot. At the point where I'm at.
For me, Streets of Rage 4, the Mr. X Nightmare DLC finally dropped for Switch. Lucky that it came out and they got a 50% sale. So I'm like, I was having fun. I was doing the survival mode of it and got to level 15. Really, really enjoying it. Hopefully me and Lamont could play it. Of course, our Zelda Skyward Sword, I'm still in the first temple because I started playing some other games. Monkey Barrels is a top-down like shooter, which is really cool as an indie game. Street Fighter Alpha 3, I've been playing, trying to play as Ken and beat it, and then I fell into the trap of playing Hades again, and as 45 minutes passed, it'd be like, oh, I forgot why this game is so good. It literally sucked me in. So pretty much that's what I've been playing. There's other stuff that I've been playing on other consoles, and like I said, the other two games that's coming to Switch, I'm really trying those out. But everybody, that is going to be the show. Austin, thank you. Go ahead and plug, Austin.
Well, I want to thank you all guys for having me on. I love this show. I love listening to it every week. So to be on it is pretty awesome. You can find me at PlaceAustin on Twitter. You can catch me every Tuesday at 8/7 Central on twitch.tv/Exodus803. I think I'm saying URLs right. I don't know. So go check us out there. We talk about PlayStation, and we also talk about snacks. And Nelly, the best part of it's going to be on tomorrow, so definitely check us out tomorrow. And then you can find me on multiple other shows: Land Party, Trash Talk, Boss Rush Entertainment. Really any show where I can annoy Logan. So that's pretty much it.
Corey, go ahead and plug.
You can find me at I am Corey in HD on Twitter. I'm really trying to switch gears. I'm really going to try to focus on making POW Block a more substantial presence with extra content and stuff. Also want to remind everybody that POW Block's social medias, as well as all the other shows, are moving to at Boss Rush Network. We're trying to make things more simple for everybody who consumes us to follow us and be interactive and stuff, because we did talk a little bit that our socials are kind of all over the place, and our URL for our website is bossrush.net now, although bossrushgames.com and bossrushnetwork.com still go there, but we're trying to simplify everything for everybody who's out there listening, and just wanted to get that message across, because our articles are important, our editorials are important, our podcasts are important, our upcoming content is important. We just want to make sure that if you do follow us, you want to consume it, it's just as easy as possible for you to get there.
Right. David, where can we find you?
You can find me at David Lasby on Twitter. You can also find my articles on bossrush.net and zeldadungeon.net. And I did also want to give a plug quickly. We are looking for one more writer to join our writing team. So you can either go to our contact page on bossrush.net and apply there, or you can email at opportunitiesatbrg@gmail.com. That's opportunitiesatbrg@gmail.com.
All right. And Jacob, where can we find you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Galutrad, Galutrad.
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatBritchGo. Check out my other projects and stuff on there also. And yes, check us out on Mondays for more Nintendo Pod Block at 7:30/8:30 p.m. We want to wish everybody a great week, a great weekend. We know there are tons of games dropping, and we know some people are getting ready to go back to school. So, just let's enjoy the last bit of summer before we all head back into the workplace and school place and stuff. Once again, thank you, Austin, for joining us. And everybody, we will see you next time on Nintendo Power Block. Bye, everybody. Woo-hoo!
Bye.